personal banking, I managed a portfolio of over 200 households and clients with everything you can think of, anything from securities to mortgages to auto. I was licensed for life insurance and health insurance. And then I moved back into securities as a team lead. And I work with a lot of different stocks and corporate actions things. So I have an extensive finance background. I started at 19 working at a bank, and I was just doing it to get a better schedule. And then I changed my major because I was like, look, they'll pay for this because I'm all about savings. I'm like, they'll pay some tuition reimbursement, so let me go ahead and sign up for that. So I switched my major, and I have a degree in management. Oh, somebody else is coming in. So through that, I was able to, actually when I was working after college, I was working as a makeup artist on the side because somebody else suggested it. They were like, hey, what else do you do? I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is it. I was all excited. I was like, I got this job. It's a recession. Like, I was just happy to be working. And they were like, listen, like, don't ever have just one income. Like, you can't just depend on that because if something happens, what are you going to do? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not good at anything else. Every day he had me come to his desk and he's like, what are you good at? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, think of something to come back. So I'd come back every day. And then finally I said, you know what? I think I'm good at makeup. Because at that point, people were always asking me to do makeup for events or because I was always the person that wore makeup. Before YouTube, a lot of people did not wear makeup like that, if y'all remember. So I was always the person that was like from 16, 17 on, like as soon as my mom said I could throw something on, honey, listen, I was going through all those little bargain racks and stuff like that at the store. I was going through all of the clearance aisles, those little bins that they have out, Maybelline. I had all the makeup at like 17, 18. So I was always that person that people came to. So I was like, I think I'm kind of good at makeup. And then from there, I would go on Eventbrite and I would look for classes. I would drive to Philly because I was living down here in Dover at the time. I would drive to Philly. I would drive to New York because I'm originally from New York. So I would stay with grandma on the weekends, go to a conference, go to a convention. And I just kept practicing. There wasn't a lot on YouTube, so I would buy books. The used books on Amazon, and then I would study them after work. So I would go through Kevin Aucoin's books, Sam Fine, Bobby Brown, and I always bought the used ones because I'm like, it's the same information. Why am I paying full price? Don't pay full price. So that's how I learned, and I just started to practice on people. I actually set up an ad on Craigslist to look for my first photographer to set up a photo shoot. So I just put it out there like I knew what I was doing. And somebody responded, we set up a shoot, and from there I was able to get more shoots. And you got to fake it till you make it, and you got to do it for free. So that's why I did it on Craigslist, because it was a free service. And we did a free shoot, and from there it just started to kind of evolve. So the whole time that I'm working in finance, I'm also shooting on the side. I think I did like a couple weddings, proms, things like that, little things just to kind of get started. I moved my finance career to coincide with my makeup career. So I actually relocated to Philadelphia with a finance job so that I could work with better photographers, more people, hairstylists. So I did both to kind of network and have them fit together. While I was working in banking at a branch, I actually was working at Nordstrom at night at the Bobby Brown counter, and I moved to a couple different counters. I worked for everybody from Clinique to Estee Lauder, it's everybody. So I was doing both at the same time. And little extra savings tip, that money I actually put in case I moved to New York account. So I had a separate account set up just in case I decided to move to New York. So it was a little bit about how I got started. I just decided to jump for it one day. I didn't want to be 75 in a nursing home. I was getting ready to buy a house in Philly, and I was like, I was already pre-approved, and I was like, you know what, like, let me just try this and see how it's going to go. I was getting more jobs in New York. I was assisting another artist because I just decided to be fearless. So I just jumped out there and just emailed her like, hey, I think she was looking for an assistant, and she was like, come to New York. And I would come on the weekend for the low. I would take a bus from Philly to New York for like $20. I had a site. I had a whole system to do it so I could save money, and I made sure I wrote off all of those expenses too. So I'm big on write-offs. And I just started, it just kind of worked out. I moved, and in the first week I was at the Seth Meyers show. I was assisting, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then 2 weeks later I was at Comedy Central, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And it just kind of evolved from there. And now it's been two years.
Wow.
That's my background.
Wow. Amazing.
That's interesting.
Thank you. So do you guys have any ideas about saving? Like what's one thing that resonates with you when you think about saving? You can put it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. You guys have any ideas around that?
Hi guys, hello everyone. I'm sorry I'm late and that my video is off. It's all the mystery. But
All good.
for me, one of the biggest issues that I find with savings is just feeling like I don't have crazy amounts to begin with. So where am I saving from? Like, where's the money coming from
Right.
for me to save
Right.
if I'm just like barely able to, exactly, you know, tell me what to do, girl,
Well,
fix
you've
my
come to the
life.
right place, Erica. You've come to the right place. So another part of my background is, so I actually worked full-time, I said, in school. I'm a millennial, but I'm not that spoiled millennial. So I was never on my parents' car insurance. I paid for my own health insurance. So when Obama extended it so you could be covered under your parents' insurance till 26, that did not apply to me. I've never been on their cell phone plan. So I've pretty much been on my own for a long time. So I had to learn to make sure things worked out. And then I always thought ahead because things are always changing. You never know what's going to happen. So I always try to plan for it just in case. Like if I need to get an apartment, just in case. And I've had several apartments, several cars, things like that. So I always am on the lookout for how do I prepare and think 2 steps ahead, because you don't want to get complacent and you don't want to get stagnant too. So I've learned saving things early on, and through those savings and financial strategies, that's how I was able to change my career and to move to the city. So we're going to learn a little bit about that today. So I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see. Oh, Zoom makes this so easy. Oh, you guys aren't looking at anything. There we go. Okay. Can you guys all see that? So I'm going to teach you guys how to save when you don't have much money coming in, and I feel like this is very relevant right now. As you guys know, so many people have lost their jobs, people are furloughed, people have gotten their hours cut, and it's really tough for a lot of people. So I'm going to go through a couple things here today. One quote that I found interesting: save money and money will save you. So I always believe that cash is king, especially during times like this. So definitely have a focus on saving and making sure that you're making it a priority. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. So this is me graduating. I learned from my life experiences, like I was saying. So I didn't live at my own apartment in college, paid tuition, paid for my books. I worked full-time at the bank, and then I worked at the library part-time, and then I sold makeup on the side. So I was hustling. I was working. I feel like I haven't slept in like 20 years. It's fine. I'll sleep later. That's why I got the concealer, y'all. See? So, so I worked, like I said, in banking. As I started off in banking at such a young age, I was able to kind of use the experience from learning the products and from interacting with different clients to learn how to manage my own finances. So it was almost like getting a free education, because here I am offering services to clients at the bank, but I'm like, oh, this is how you set up a stock plan. Oh, this is how you do this. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home and do that. I'm gonna do this. And just making sure that I'm taking advantage of everything that my job has to offer, because there's no way to pass up that information for free. It's so necessary. So I definitely applied a lot of the principles from working in the branch to myself. So this is one of the branch jobs that I've had before I moved back into finance at M&T. One other thing is I graduated during a recession. So this whole COVID thing, I feel like I've been there before. So I graduated during a recession. As you know, the recession back in 2010, nobody was getting jobs after graduating from college. A lot of people were starting their own businesses because there were no jobs. A lot of people were struggling to pay bills, to pay rent. Sally Mae comes knocking as soon as you graduate. So it gets really, really real. So I was able to apply a lot of the things that I learned, and I also picked up and learned a lot of new lessons to not repeat during any other recession. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips. So here's a couple tips, just about a couple facts just about the recession. Jobs become more scarce. I know if you have been looking for a job, you know you're not seeing as many jobs as you might have seen 9 months ago, or even like 7 months ago. You're not seeing the same amount of jobs that you've seen before. And then when you are able to get a job, they try to lowball you because they know you really need that job. So they're not going to offer you the same benefits. They're also not going to offer you the same pay. They're like, hey, you should be happy to be here. It's sad, but that's how these companies think. They're in the business of saving money and not making money. I'm sorry, they're in the business of saving money and not giving you any extra money. Companies also resend credit very quickly. So if you've noticed during a recession, if you have, let's say you have a $10,000 limit with, I don't know, American Express, all of a sudden you got an $8,000 limit. Then you got a $6,000 limit because they will snatch that back so quick because they're so afraid of people overspending and not being able to pay them back. And they're so afraid of their own debt that they will quickly rescind that and say, hey, listen, you're not about to spend all our money. So don't depend on credit to help pay off your bills and things like that when there's a recession or there's some kind of unrest like COVID right now. And it's really difficult to get a loan too. So everything gets more strict. They cut everything down a lot. So when it was easier to get a loan, you're not going to see the same things at that point. Also, the cost of everything goes up. So I know you guys have noticed even during these COVID times, when you go to the store, eggs cost more, milk costs more, bread costs more, everything goes up. Everything goes up and salaries remain the same. So you have to make sure that you're still able to maintain your same lifestyle, or you're still able to eat at least. So that's definitely something that we're going to look at. So COVID-19, I spoke a little bit about that. As you guys know, we're still dealing with the effects of COVID-19. Like I said, a lot of people are still unemployed. A lot of people, unemployment is an issue right now. A lot of people are still not getting unemployment. They've gotten it, they're off of it. All kinds of things are just going crazy because of COVID-19 with people's finances. So what can we do? What can we do differently to help counteract some of the effects of COVID-19 and to not slip into another recession where we're kind of having a difficult time? So one of my tips is to look through and see what you're working with, right? So you don't really have an idea of where you're going unless you know where you've been. So I advise that you look through all of your company's benefits, look through your HSA, your FSA. That's all pre-tax money. So using that pre-tax money, you're able to pay for daycare, you're able to pay for healthcare services. So definitely make sure you're not missing anything and start there first. Also check out your savings accounts. If you need a savings account, usually a lot of them are free. So I would start with your bank, open 1, 2, 3, however many you need to open. So if you need to open one just because you want to buy a new car, you can have a car savings account. Nobody said you just need to have one or just a checking account. So definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of free savings accounts. Savings is only half the battle. So there's a lot more things that you have to take into consideration and not just savings. Some people have stock, some people have life insurance. Make sure you're taking advantage of other things as well. So as I said before, and this is why it's important to start saving, cash is always going to be king. Like I said, banks are going to reduce the credit. They're going to reduce credit. Goods are going to cost more, and everything breaks. You ever not have any money and then all of a sudden you get a flat tire, or something just goes wrong at your house, hot water heater, anything happens. That's when you need that reserve the most. That's when you need to have that backup money. So let me just go through here. And credit is also important too. Even though they will resend it, it's also very important to have. All right, so one of my tips here is to just look around for what you already have, right? So I'm sure if you're like me, you have a lot of clothes, you have a lot of shoes, you have things that you're not using. I definitely take advantage of virtual garage sale. That's what I call it. And I just found out the other day too that OfferUp and LetGo are actually one app now. So they actually combined. I've been using OfferUp and LetGo for a while to sell all kinds of things. So moving to New York from Philly, I had furniture, I've had all kinds of stuff, and I can't figure out how to make that work in New York. To eliminate a bill and clean out my storage, I sold a bunch of furniture last year on OfferUp and LetGo. I mean, dining room tables, end tables, coffee table, made a ton of money and was able to eliminate that storage bill just by selling online. So I actually included a code to get you guys started. You'll get $5 if you use the code, and you can buy anything that you want. So you can also buy things to help you organize off of OfferUp or LetGo, which is the same company now. But yeah, even on Poshmark, clothes you're not wearing. Listen, everybody wants you to be in their wedding. Those bridesmaid dresses, somebody can use that for a prom dress. Post that dress, because I know you paid like $200 for it. So make sure you're getting as much as you can back for it, because you're only going to wear it once. I like to say mind your own, and by that I mean mind your own business. So now we have YouTube, so you can do your own hair, you could do your own nails. Pinterest is another one that I like. I have all kind of boards on Pinterest because I like to look at different outfit ideas. There's all kind of savings ideas on there. So that's another one that you can go to whenever you feel like, oh, you know, I might not have the money, but I still want to look nice. So learn how to do your own wash and go, your own wash and set. You could do gel sets. You can get a little gel light. You can get 2 polishes. You can do all kinds of stuff now, and that'll help save you some money. I cannot stand when somebody's talking to me about how they don't have any money and they got a fresh full set. Girl, what? How? This is why you don't have any. You know how much they charge for a fill? That's insane. Don't do that. Compare and information shop. An informed shopper is dangerous. I always say that. So make sure you always take advantage of researching so that you can find rebates, you can find coupons, promo codes, and use that to your advantage. Almost everything is negotiable. Almost everything is negotiable, I'm telling you. So I know people who've negotiated their rent, especially during times like now. Landlords are scared. They're scared you're going to move out. They're scared they're not going to find anybody. You can probably negotiate your rent. There's so many things that you can negotiate. I'll tell you guys a quick story. So when it comes to comparison shopping and making sure you're well informed, when I bought my car, I waited until the year changed. So I fixed my car. I was having some issues, and I was like, okay, come January, I'm going to start shopping around. So I started off in December, made a whole separate email account, and started emailing dealerships. And come January, I went into a dealership and was like, hey, so I know you guys are trying to get rid of last year's cars. I looked up all the rebates. I knew what rebates were available, and I was able to negotiate about $10,000 off my car. Because I looked up the rebates that the company was offering, I negotiated my loan rate, and I negotiated my trade too. So I didn't have to have that year's car. I knew I was going to have a new car still, but I didn't need to have the latest one for that one, and they made me a deal. Sign up for store savings and apps. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys another story. Does anybody have a ShopRite near them?
Yes.
Do you have a ShopRite?
Yes.
Do you take advantage of the digital coupons?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. You too?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So that's right.
I love
So
the
I
free
would
stuff.
sit in the parking lot. I love free stuff too. So I would sit in the parking lot and I would go through the digital coupons. You can sign into their app and you can add those coupons to your store card. So when you put in your phone number to check out, it could have been $1 off in the circular, but now you got $2 off of toilet paper, of meat, anything that you need. So definitely make sure you're checking and optimizing your savings. One other thing that I like is the Fetch Rewards. I just got involved in that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So Fetch Rewards, you can scan your receipt after you're shopping. So you're still getting more from shopping. So after you scan your receipt, you get points. And I got like a magazine subscription to help me with freelancing and stuff and ideas and stuff like that. So I always have magazine subscriptions. So that's another cool trick is you can actually use the gift cards to get you stuff from Sephora, from Amazon. They have all kinds of cool things. So make sure you're signing up for store apps and coupons. Target has a great reward system now. There's so many out there. So make sure you're optimizing your savings. And this is one of my favorites. I'm a huge proponent of second jobs. So I've always been about a second job. Like even if I get a first job, I'm like, okay, so what days can I work something else? Or what days can I do something else? So get a second job. If you're able to work it in, like I said, I worked at night at Nordstrom's. I worked a full day. I worked at the bank from 8 to 4:30, and then I drove 40 minutes and worked until like 10 o'clock at night and did the same thing over and over again for like 2-3 years. So get that second job. Now it's actually a little bit easier with all these different apps. You can be a pet sitter. I've booked people on Rover.com to watch my dog. All kinds of stuff you can do. You can pack groceries for Instacart. Like there's so many things that you can do. So get a second job and make sure you're separating that money out. So you're not keeping it all together, because then you can kind of see it as it builds up a little bit. So you could be a home health aide. You can do pet walk, like dog walking. it's huge, especially if you live in a city. So, and you guys are in North Jersey, so a lot of busy people are commuting to New York, and you could definitely be walking their dogs while they're at work. You know how much my dog walker used to charge me? Y'all better get that money. And then I wanted to put a quick quote here. So this will become repetitive for you, and it'll become muscle memory. It'll be just like, it'll become a lifestyle for you. So you won't have to think about it because you're going to be a savings expert. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellent spend is not an act, but a habit. Make it a habit, and it will become so easy for you, and you won't have to worry about it. All right. Do you guys have any questions or anything?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Alka.
Yeah, I have a question. I have some things which I would like to sell. So which app should I use for that virtually?
You said you have some things that you want to sell?
Yes.
So I use the OfferUp or Let Go app, but I just saw that they combined. So I just tried to log in earlier this morning, and it's all one app. So you can go to Let Go, and it'll redirect you to OfferUp. You take pictures of your item, and you just do a brief description and put your location, and that's it. You start responding to people right away because they move you to the top of the page when you're new.
Oh. So how does it work? Like first I have to receive the cash and then I ship the item, or how does it work?
So the way I've done it is I've actually met them. Like I had them come to my storage. Like, hey, listen, you want this bed? Do you want this TV stand? I've had them come meet me there, or like I've had people come not right in front of my apartment because I don't trust nothing. So I'll give them another address a couple doors down or somewhere along, and I've been like lugging end tables and stuff, and I meet them there and I just get cash. So once they give me the cash, then I turn over the goods. But I usually have somebody else with me too if I feel like it's sketchy.
Oh, okay. So
luckily I haven't had anything sketch.
Yeah. So Let Go is the app that you use to sell the stuff that you don't need.
Yep.
Oh.
Let Go, and I have some stuff posted on Poshmark too, like dresses and things like that I don't use anymore. Business clothes, because obviously I don't go into an office every day.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things that I bought from Banana Republic and Nordstrom that were not cheap, now I can kind of give them a second life for somebody, and I can also pocket the cash.
Oh, okay. So can you just write me an email with the apps which you use for that? What are the different apps?
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a code on here too if you want to buy anything. Let me see how I get to the chat here. Oh no, y'all might have to put it in there for me. I don't see how to use it.
Oh, I can probably do it. Hold on.
Okay.